So Joe Biden confused a member of the Salvation Army with the Secret Service. And my heart aches for this man. Okay, we can sit here and we can make fun of Joe Biden all day and all night, but let me just tell you, my friends, welcome to the fourth turning. The end is upon us. Did you watch the previous segment? We got the lady who's so morbidly obese, she can't even get the shoes on her feet, and her legs look like tree stumps. And I'm not trying to be mean to this person. I'm begging them be better. But I digress. Here's another major component of the fourth turning. Basically goes like this. What is it? Strong men make good times make weak men make hard times make strong men, as it goes. It's basically the fourth turning. And what we're watching now is not only do we have a culture of degeneracy, morbid obesity, gluttony, perversion, we got people voting in a president who is so dumb. Okay, that's mean. He's not dumb. He's just old and not functioning. I think y'all need to wake up. No, hold on. I know many of you already have realized exactly what's going on, but hey, this is it, man. It's all coming crashing down. So why do I have chickens? Because I'm not confident the system's going to be able to sustain itself. It's like we're playing Jenga, and then like someone pulled out the block that says president with working brain and put it on top. Someone pulled out the other block of like fitness. Someone pulled out another block, logic, and the whole thing's teetering on the verge of collapse. And it is only a matter of time until the whole thing comes crumbling down. Here's a story from the Daily Mail. Moment Biden confuses a uniformed member of the Salvation Army for the Secret Service. Oh, look at this. It's just, look, he's a bumbling old dotard. And he's just like, Joe Biden was caught on camera making yet another blunder this weekend when he appeared to mistake a member of the Salvation Army for a Secret Service agent. The gaffe occurred in El Paso, Texas on Sunday during a visit to the Mexican border, ahead of this week's Three Amigos summit between the U.S., Canada, and Mexican leaders. After speaking to Border Patrol officers and taking a walk along the wall separating the two countries, the president was led to a migrant center and was introduced to a member of the Salvation Army wearing a uniform. Biden stepped toward the aid worker, who was also wearing a Salvation Army badge, name tag, and standing in front of a Salvation Army banner, shook his hand and whispered, "I spent some time with the Secret Service in Poland and Ukraine." The man, clearly puzzled, smiled back at the president as the pair continued to shake hands before Biden continued on down the line, leaving the aid worker none the wiser. Oh, wow. As the oldest person ever sworn into the White House, Biden has faced questions and concerns over his mental as well as physical capability in one of the world's most demanding jobs. But aside from his advanced age, Biden 80 has worried even his supporters with the sheer quantity of mental gaffes he has made since taking office. My friends, Biden is a broken man. He is an old man. He's bumbling around in exactly the way you'd expect an old man to be bumbling around. I don't blame him for this. And I also don't think he has supporters. The reality is, Joe Biden is the result of an anti-election. That's what I told Bannon. I've had people say it over and over again, and I'm just like, I feel like the logic is there. COVID locked everything down. There were no sports. You couldn't watch basketball. You couldn't watch movies. You couldn't leave your house. Then they said it was all Trump's fault. And then they handed you a universal mail-in ballot. How is that not hard to understand? There's a lot of people who are like, no, the only way it's possible. No, dude, come on. All these people, they didn't know what they were voting for. Like, we had Vosh on the show, and he didn't even know anything about Joe Biden. And he probably voted. I'm pretty sure he voted for the guy. We had Vosh on the show, leftist socialist YouTuber guy. And he was like, I was a little kid when Biden was vice president. I don't know anything about that. And I'm like, man, I was an adult. That's kind of crazy if you think about it. That's why I warn everybody, with stuff like this. These kids who are 10 years old right now don't know anything about this. Joe Biden's going to be 90 and they're going to be 20 and they're going to be like, guess I'm voting for Biden. And you're going to be like, no, dude, don't you remember when he was bumbling about and he couldn't even tell who was who and what was what? How many times do I have to have stories about something like this? So I pop over to Predict It. You guys know Predict It. It's where you can buy shares in, I guess, outcomes. So I put my money on Jim Jordan for speaker, and it was a bad bet. I did it not because I thought he was actually going to become speaker, but I thought that the shares would rise. So I predicted it works, and you could sell the shares. But I ended up switching them all out and then putting them into Kevin McCarthy, which ended up working out because I got in like 60 cents a share and then exited at $1 something. So it worked out. I still ended up losing money on the bets. It's a weird system. It's fun. I recently moved all so I get paid out for the McCarthy thing. I put it all into Donald Trump as the nominee for the GOP. And the reason for it is like DeSantis, I like. But, Milo makes a good point when he said, what did he say? That DeSantis had the charisma of a wet sponge. And he was like, it's like when you reach for something and then you accidentally touch something moist. It was actually really good. It was brilliant. Milo's a funny guy. DeSantis lacks the charisma that Trump has. But Trump's been a bit out of it as well. So I don't know exactly how it's going to play out. I don't know exactly what's going to happen. But I put my bet on Donald Trump, despite the fact that he also is a very old man. In fact, Trump may end up being the oldest person sworn in, if in a year and a half. Actually, I don't know. Yeah. Because Biden was sworn in when he was like 78, and Trump will be I think Trump will be older than that. I'm not entirely sure. Anyway, my point is this. One of the reasons why I'm kind of like, we just need a Ron DeSantis, even if he does have the charisma of a wet sponge, is that we need some youth. Dude's like, what is Ron DeSantis, like 45? It's like he's like 9 years older than I am. Okay, that's like when I was a kid growing up and there was like the older kids skating. That's that. You know what I mean? Like he's older than me, but he's still a young enough guy. 45. I don't know how old he is. Maybe he's younger than that. Is he 45? What is he, like? Maybe 43? I don't even know. He's not 80. I think at a certain point we need to recognize we can't continue down this path. But I'm not entirely convinced we're going to find salvation, in anybody. Look at this. Daily Mail includes this big list of gaffes. Forgetting numbers, confusing Libya and Syria, calling Kamala president. He called Kamala president over and over again. Here's where my heart lies, my friends. Yeah, I think a DeSantis would be good. I lean towards DeSantis these days more than Trump because, Trump is an old guy. Here's the problem. You got so many people in this country, they're going to vote for a ham sandwich so long as they're told by the media that's what they have to do. You're going to get people who are going to hand out universal mail-in ballots. They're going to put up those ballot boxes in the park, and they're going to do ballot harvesting and all that stuff. And whether or not you have a good idea is irrelevant. So the only thing that changes in this country, the only thing that we can do to change is if we actually have a Republican Party willing to use these tactics. And then once they gain power, shutting that stuff down. But who wants to give up power? The Republicans will use ballot harvesting, and then they'll say, that was easy. Let's keep doing it. And the system will continue to erode. And here we are. We've got everything is racist. We've got morbidly obese models. We have mall stores torrid for the morbidly obese. Like, I got no beef if you want to eat to your heart's content. The market will provide, I suppose. But I'm saying it's just bad for us as a civilization. The end result? A president who can't tell people apart, Mr. Magoon about, is a president who accidentally presses the launch button. Yeah, I hope things get better. I hope we find our way out through this. But I'm just not entirely convinced that we will. I'm not trying to be pessimistic. What I think is going to happen, I think his confidence in the system is breaking down. I think you and I, will probably find our way. And the night is always darkest before the dawn, so things will get bad, but we'll be all right. It's just, I kind of want things to stay good. I want to be able to keep watching, Game of Thrones or whatever it is you kids are watching these days. Play some Overwatch 2, running around, healing, and team shoot 'em up video games. It's a crazy thought, man. You should really play, if you guys are into video games, Horizon Zero Dawn and Forbidden West. Because they explore these ideas of what a civilization would be like after the collapse of humanity, and I find it fascinating. The things we take for granted today. The Roman Empire had indoor plumbing. You'd walk in your house, you'd take a dump and flush it away. And then after the empire fell, for like 1,000 years, they would just take a dump and chuck it out the window. How does it happen? Humans knew how to do this stuff. It's because the system broke. The economy fractured. You can blame Joe Biden for a lot of this, but Biden, just like Trump, is a symptom of the problem. We are a broken and dejected society inching our way towards absolute collapse. But collapse doesn't mean the end, Because even after the Roman Empire, several civilizations, several empires began to emerge, and the British Empire became big. The French Empire became very big. They expanded. So what happens after the fall of our country and our empire? I don't know. It may be hundreds of years of just awful. Maybe people will take dumps in buckets and chuck them out the window. Maybe then things will just generally improve. Far be it from me to know. The one thing I can say, though, is that I fear there will be massive amounts of death. I'll leave it at that. Stick around. I got one more segment coming up in just about a few minutes. We'll see you all then.